Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of, you know what? I actually don't know what I'm going to call this series yet. It's going to be a series, as you guys know, based off of my experiences on YouTube and recording games, just to give you guys, a little bit of information of what I've learned. So, how to get started, what to do, what recording software, stuff that we talked about on the last episode about using OBS or Fraps to record video games. So now that you guys have a pretty good idea about what recording software you might want to try, you've already gone ahead and tried those programs out. You finally got it to work. You've recorded something. Now you're saying to yourself, what do I do with that? Where do I go? Chances are you know about YouTube. It's not really a secret. But how do you go about creating a YouTube channel? Well, you're going to come over here to YouTube and you're going to click on the opening page. And if you're coming to YouTube as a new user, it's going to say, do you want to sign in or do you want to create an account or do you just go as a guest? You don't have to create an account or sign in. If you do, you can come on here as just an anonymous person using YouTube. But if you're going to create a channel, you're going to want to create an account and you're going to want to sign in. Once you sign in, you basically have a YouTube channel. You now have the ability to upload stuff to YouTube. Now, keep in mind that the stuff you're going to be able to upload is going to be very limited. When you first come onto YouTube, they don't know who you are. They don't know if they can trust you or if you're going to upload, who knows what kind of material that is, not on the approved list of stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about, like adult content and stuff like that. So to avoid all the trolls and computer, companies that you can hire to have people sit there and upload stuff just to try to like make your site look bad, because there's people out there, I'm sure, that want to take YouTube's place. They're a multi-billion-dollar company and stuff. So to avoid that, when you first come onto YouTube, you're only allowed to upload videos that are 10 minutes or less. And you're kind of limited on a few other options and things of that sort. But my suggestion to that would be before you actually want to get like hardcore into making videos. If you're saying like, I'm gonna start it out, I'm only gonna do like one video a week or something like that. Make sure they're less than 10 minutes. You don't want to even get close to that 10-minute mark, because sometimes YouTube will actually add a second or two onto your videos. So if you're right there on the line, YouTube be like, no, it's a second too long, and then you got to go back in there and edit something out or something. So yeah, I would say give yourself a leeway of at least four, preferably like 5 or 6 seconds, if you're going to get it right to that point. If you have to absolutely do that. But yeah, you want to put out a few short videos, make them very concise and to the point of what you're trying to go about talking. And for some video games, 10 minutes is not that bad. Like you might not even need to do that if you're playing a game that's like a platformer or something along those lines that allows you to beat the level really quickly, and then your video is only like a minute and a half, and it's a tutorial about how to beat that level. You can do stuff like that. Start small and allow YouTube to realize that you're there. It usually takes about 6 weeks to 6 months to get your invite to be a partner. Now, there's faster ways of going about doing it. You can go and join a network. Networks are something I'm going to do an entire episode about, because they are, fairly complicated subject, and some people have one way of looking at it, other people have another. So we will get all into networks at some point here, and I will give you my opinion on it and show you some that I would recommend and others that I would stay away from and the reasons why. But for now, I'm just going to mention the fact that you can join them, and you will immediately be able to, if the network is big enough and has the permission. If the network has permission to upload videos that are 30 minutes or 10 minutes or longer, then you, after joining that network, will now have all the permissions that they have, including the ability to get permission to review video games. Without having to go out and get them. Like if they get them, they transfer over to you as well. So there's some benefits to that. But for now, you finally got on here. You're able to upload your video, however long it is. You've either joined a network or it's below 10 minutes. You finally are ready to do that. You come over here to the little button in the top right corner that says upload. You click on it, and it's going to take you over to a new page right here, guys. This is fairly simple. It's not really that complicated, but I'm going to go over it anyways, because some people may have some questions on that. You click the little upload button, and it's going to take you into your computer. and it's going to say, where do you want to look for these files? You're going to find those files. Now, all these have already been uploaded. Every single one of them has been uploaded already. So if I clicked on one of those right now, it's probably going to give me an error message and say, oh, that one's already been uploaded, because it does do a whole lot of stuff. In fact, maybe I'll just show that, because right now, at this moment, it is not only uploading to YouTube, but it is scanning that file every second of every, every little package that it sends. It's going to scan that for any copyright material or stuff that should not be uploaded. And it's really good, guys. At least with video games. I've never tried anything else other than video games, but this thing is really good. I kid you not. If you upload a video game that has copyrighted material in it, whether the intro has music in the background that is copyrighted by a different company other than the video game, and you got permission from the video game, but you didn't get permission from them, and they've told YouTube they don't want their stuff on there, you'll get a flag immediately upon this finishing. It will say, boom, no, you got it. It's not going on. It's been blocked right now. Fix and resolve this issue that supposedly has come up with copyright issue, and then we'll put it up. So nobody gets to see this video, even if you make it public right then and there, unless it meets that security check. So make sure you guys aren't trying to upload something that shouldn't be on YouTube, because YouTube's not going to let it anyways. And they're really good with it. Of course, this does save you from having to worry about being sued and stuff like that, because it catches it immediately. Now, don't expect it to, because I'm sure there's going to come times where YouTube falls short and doesn't quite make it to scan everything. Because I have had claims come even months later, and that could just because the company who owns the copyright to that has never really approached YouTube and said, hey, we don't want our stuff on there. Because if a company doesn't come on there, say somebody like Sony, and say, we don't want our video games on there, then YouTube will just assume that they're okay with it. I don't know how they legally get away with that, but that's pretty much how they work. They just assume it's okay unless somebody comes on there and says otherwise. This does run into issues because I don't even know if I want to get into that until later episodes, but though you can challenge those because they're not always accurate. Somebody can create a channel, or not even a channel. They come on into here to YouTube and say, I am blah blah blah. It doesn't even have to be a legit company, and say I own that music that's owned by, say, Tower Records, right? Well, obviously they don't own that, and legally they'd never be able to prove it. But YouTube doesn't require a lot of the time any proof. They just oh, you're saying that belongs to you. Why would you lie? I got good reasons, because all the money that you make off of those episodes will go to them if they set it up that way. Because a company has two choices. They can either say, we didn't want our music on there and we want it down immediately, and this is like grounds for lawsuit, and YouTube will say, fine, we understand that, we're going to flag that account, we're going to give him a strike for every offense that he has with those videos. And if you get 3 strikes, your channel is gone. It's like baseball. It is gone. You lose your channel completely. Now, the other option they can do is if they say, well, we didn't really want it on there, but we don't mind as long as we're the one making all the money on it. And so all the money that you make off of that monetized video will then go to the company. And they'll notify you, of course, that that's happening, and you can have the option to remove all the videos and stuff like that. Sometimes you'll have notorious people who will come on here and claim the same stuff. It's pretty easy to stop. It's really not that bad. If they do that, you can just come on there, because it tells you like immediately if that happens. It pops up on your phone or whatever you have the little thing, and says, oh, somebody's putting a claim on there. What do you want to do about it? And you can just say unmonetize all of them. They won't get any money. You'll say, I'm going to dispute this claim, and in like a day and a half it's disputed, and you go ahead and put all that stuff back up again. Like it's like a click of a button and it's done. So it's really not that big of a deal, but it is something you need to be aware of. Now, say it's uploading. Now, what do you do here, guys? Well, you need to change the title. Like, preferably, this is something that I do not do very often, but I should. And what it is when you clicked on the file, whatever the name of the file was, that's what it puts here. And part of YouTube will always remember this. It's always going to remember this is the name of the file. It's really not, because it's just the name that Fraps gave to the video that I was recording. But now it's going to remember that. It's going to say, okay, this is the name of the file. And when somebody does a search for, say, Java, it's going to come back a little quicker with this file because it's in the title. Now, if I change this to, say, Java 2.0, blah, 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 then they're going to have 2 links in your video for Java. You're going to have this one, which is behind the scenes, and then you're going to have the Java that you actually typed in here, 2.0, blah, blah, blah. And then you can have a third one by putting Java down here in the bottom as far as your tags go. And so you do want to have this already named to what you're going to have it before you really upload it. I don't really do that all too often because I'm kind of lazy when it comes to that kind of stuff, but it's going to help you out if you do. So this one I think is actually EverQuest. It should be called the EverQuest, episode blah blah blah, season, that, and then the character and all the stuff that I usually put on there. It should already have here, but I don't have it that way. So I'm not getting that first little tag. In fact, I'm kind of confusing it a little bit by having Java in there and having nothing to do with Java. But it's not really something you want to do either, because if you're going to put all the the popular tags in here, YouTube will figure out what you're doing, and that is a breach of terms of contract, and you will lose your channel. So do not, do not, do not do that kind of stuff. You're going to mess up your own self, and it's going to happen probably around the time that your channel makes it big, because that's when they go back and look at those things to make sure you've been behaving all this time. And if you haven't, it's all going to come to haunt you at the exact same time when you least want it to. So just start out, fine, don't do those things. And if you have done them, stop doing them immediately. And YouTube might be okay with it. It might go under the radar, and they might not want to go after you. Chances are they eventually will. So that kind of messed you up there. But now that you put a title, catchy title, something that is very, succinct to what you're doing. If you're doing EverQuest, just do the title EverQuest. What kind of EverQuest is that? Let's play, a tutorial, a walkthrough. I mean, what are you doing on that video game? So I do Let's Plays because that's what I do. If you're doing like overview or review, then do EverQuest review or something that give them just right off the bat, oh, I know exactly what they're going to be doing on that video. I'm only going to click on the video because that's what I want to see. Don't try to be misleading to them, because again, that will get you kicked off in certain ways that I will go to in detail later on and in future videos where I get into like, the negative side effects of really cheating on here and doing things that they have figured out over time that this is what people were doing to game the system, and this is what we need to do to stop it. So yeah, don't do that kind of stuff. But you're gonna want something very easy to understand, and then give it something catchy at the end of it, guys. For me, I name the game, I name the fact that I'm doing a Let's Play, I tell them what part it is so that if it's in a series, they can know, oh, I watched part 55 a couple weeks ago, he's on part 63, I missed a few episodes there, I need to go back and watch them in order if I really want to. Very, very easy if you're doing Let's Plays. If you're doing something else, part probably doesn't play a role in it, you're not going to really need to put that there. And then name the part. Give it a catchy name so they can have an idea of what's going on in that episode that's different from the last episode that is on the same topic. If you're going to do a review, this again really wouldn't come into play. But if you're going to do Let's Plays and you name one episode The Journey Begins, or first look at blah blah blah, things of that sort, then the second episode would be what? What would you name that? Don't just be like The Journey Continues. Give it something catchy like uh, the earthquake or the collapse or something like that. If in the episode you actually caused an earthquake, or if you got collapsed, or if you were buried alive, or something catchy that people would be like, oh, that sounds interesting. It kind of implies this, but it doesn't give me everything right off the bat. It's not telling me in today's episode we die and the game's over. Like that's too much of a giveaway. You could say something instead of that, like misfortune strikes us today, or misfortune bears upon us, or something funny that maybe that's not even funny at all, but it's something clever that tells you that something bad's going to happen, maybe, then without outright telling you exactly what that is, and there's no reason for you to watch the episode anymore. Like if you know it was going to end, and you may want to do that too if it's been a long series and people were going to be really upset about it. Give them a bigger heads up at the beginning to kind of lessen that blow, so they know that it's coming. That's going to be a pretty harsh blow if you're like ending the game or your channel or something like that without letting people know about that. Plus, it's going to bring them to the episode faster, because you're going to be like, holy crap, he's ending the episode. Like, oh, this sucks, right? But I got to see what's going on. So yeah, there'd be certain situations where you want to do that, but for the most part, you want to be clever, give them a catchy title, but again, make sure it is relevant to what you're doing, because if it's not, it's going to give you a strike. You don't want to go down that road. Description. Description is just that. You want to give a description of the episode without giving too much away. Think about it. For those of you who are not writers, when you're writing, a synopsis, your first two chapters, or not first two chapters, your first two paragraphs uh, is the majority of the book. That's what you would put on the back of the book, or in the jacket, so that when somebody pops it open and reads what the book is supposed to be about, they get a really good idea. Like a movie trailer. Think of that. A movie trailer that gives you the excitement and the storyline, kind of, without giving anything away. That's kind of what you want to put in the description, so they know what to expect, but at the same time, they still have something to look forward to on the actual video for watching. Because if you give everything away, they're gonna be like, okay, I understand what's going on, but why watch it? Like you're trying to do what TV does, and you're trying to do all the parts that they have. Really, professional people who went to school and studied for years to do what they do, and every little piece of this, now you have to do it. So it can get very, very complicated, but again, it can be very easy. You can simply put everything that happens in that episode, and you're not going to get as many people, I would assume, but it works. Like you don't have to be professional compared to them. I'm just giving you the little tips and tricks that I've learned that seem to help out the most when you're doing stuff like this. You do want to make it exciting for them. I mean, that's why they're watching your channel. They want something enjoyable. They want to see the game. They want something funny. And if you can throw in excitement and just that sense of, oh, that was cool. They didn't ruin the surprise for me without me even realizing they could have ruined the surprise. It's simply because these are techniques that they have perfected over, decades of dealing with this exact stuff, like on TV and things of that sort. So yeah, if you want to learn more of those things, I would suggest picking up some books about that, like advertising and just the way of going about running stuff like this. It's very, very interesting, the things that you come across. But yeah, so you want to be vague but descriptive, if that puts it in there. And then of course, lower than that, you want to have a a link to the video game. You want to have a link to the video game company, giving them credit. Now, you don't always have to do this. Most companies who give you, permission to do this will never ask for you to put a link to it, but you're playing their video game, man. Like, put a link to their video game, let people be able to click on it, even put a link to the Steam store where you can buy their video game, or a link to where they can buy it somewhere else. I don't really myself like Steam, so I usually don't put that there unless it's a Steam only game. Then I'll put the link to that there because it's the only place you can buy the game. But I'll put both links for the most part of the game company, their website, and then where they can buy the game, which may be one in itself. You might be able to buy it straight from the company if they're a big tier game company. But some of the smaller ones, primarily only on Steam. And then put a list of credits. Like, was anybody else in the video with you? Did somebody make the intro? Did somebody make the outro? Any special thanks for the episode? Any little tips that you want to throw in at the bottom that you mentioned in the episode? When you're talking about whatever subject, and you're like, oh, you know what? I like this channel. I eat turkey, and this is who I buy it from. Whatever it was that you were talking about in your channel, which could be anything on YouTube. You put those links down below. And you kind of want to keep the same format all the time so people know where they can find the stuff they want to find. And remember, this little description box right here, pretty much the first sentence and a half or two sentences, depending on how long you make them, will be what they see when they go to YouTube. When they actually go on there and they do a search for stuff, you're going to see, like over here, this is my page, my home page, and you'll see like the title. And the title is only so long as well. Like, you can't go, YouTube itself only allows you to have a title so long, and then you can't put any more letters in it. But beyond that, even part of that title it allows you to do will be cut off if they have it set up a certain way. So you'll see right here that I have all these videos on here, and underneath would be a short description, which you can't actually see here. But there'd be a short description of that video that you'd only see a few words of, maybe a sentence and a half if you're lucky. Kind of like right here where it says, welcome to my brand new series. You'd see something like that. But over here, it gives you a lot more space. So if you go really, really into detail and you have a lot of, paragraphs and things of that sort, remember the first two lines, pretty much, you don't really want to go beyond that. First two lines, be very descriptive and put the entire description, the entire summary, basically, of your game or your experience on that episode in those two lines. And then beyond that, you can get more descriptive. You can even, like, put another paragraph and start from scratch and be like, okay, this is what we do at the beginning. But again, because they can only see those 2 lines when they're going down the list, that's kind of what you want to have on there. Tags, get a little bit more into tags. Tags are basically for people who don't know much about YouTube or how to do searches on search engines. If I do a search for EverQuest or walkthroughs, that is a tag because it's a keyword. You may say I need a walkthrough for EverQuest. Well, YouTube or Google or whoever you're using sees those as keywords, such as uh, walkthrough and EverQuest, and whatever comes back faster with those keywords because they're used more often and it goes to their website. There are also a lot of algorithms and things that I don't even understand when they're doing that kind of stuff that will look for those things. And Google is really, really good about finding exactly what you want on an average basis. Yahoo is another search engine I use a lot. Dogpile, I think, is another one that's out there, but you can use any of them. But they basically all do the same thing. They use these words to match up with what somebody else is typing that they're looking for. And so these need to be about what your video is about, even if it's not in the title or the description. Is it a game? Then it should have game or games in there. And yes, it does get to the point where it matters if it has an S or not. So sometimes you will have both in here, game or games, because it will come back faster with that. Let's Plays, is it a commentary on it? Yes. There's gameplay, walkthrough, playthrough. Is it a HD? Is that something people will search for? Yes, it is. You can do, which we'll get into a video later on about finding out what are keywords and which ones are the most used as far as coming from Google themselves. Like they will show that to you because you might want to advertise with them and you need to know what the keywords are. So when you do your advertisement, you'll know that it's going to come back higher on the list. Episodes, it's an episode, it's a mission, there's levels in it. It is a part. It's a part as in, it's part 47 of a series. Game, again, it doesn't have an S on there. RPG, capitalized, not capitalized. Yes, it is a thing. Of course, who makes the game? I'm AC Gamer, so I put my tag in there. So if somebody does a search for me, this video will come back on the list because it is a video that I do. Author Christopher, that is the name of my channel, or at least it used to be the name of my channel until I changed it over to AC. Author A, Christopher C, so it's Author Christopher Gamer. Channels is pretty much the same thing. And I still have both of them in there because some people know me as that, and some people know me as the other one. Then it gives you suggested tags down here, and it's going to be suggested tags based off of your title and your description. So I have no description and no title really here, so it doesn't know what to give me, other than the fact that my tags seem to be going along a course of action that it recognizes. RPG. It knows that RPG stands for role-playing game, and so it gives me that option to throw that one in there. It knows that game or games, the two of those, might stand for game award winner. Is it an award-winning game? Well, this is almost always going to be a yes. Now, why? Because almost always there's somebody out there who will create a, I don't know what you would call them. They're not corporations, or they're a group who will give out awards to anybody. And I see a lot of game companies, whether it's right or wrong, giving themselves award from companies that they've created just to give themselves an award so they can say they have an award. Like they don't have to do that. There's so many out there right now that when a game comes out, whether it's good or not, it's going to get an award of some sort, whether it's a good one or a bad one. Like they hand out awards for being the worst game out there of the year. Well, then this tag would be right. It is a game and it is an award winner. It has an award. It doesn't say what kind. It doesn't say good or bad. So again, this one is almost always a safe bet. Every game out there seems to have an award of some sort if you dig deep enough into it. Then you want to know, it says commentary in here, but it doesn't know magazine. We're not doing magazines, so that would not be one that you click. Do you play the game? Well, yeah, it is something you play. Is it a playthrough part? Well, it's doing playthrough part because I have series in here and I have episode, mission, stuff like that you can throw in there. And then it doesn't know, it just knows that it's a game because you have games in here. And it says, oh, well, games, are you playing it on the PlayStation, the Xbox, the PlayStation 2? Whatever you're playing it on, you want to put that in here because somebody might do a search for, you say, Call of Duty on the computer. And then they know, okay, this is a computer run through of it. I want this video more than, say, somebody who is playing it on the PlayStation. It's going to come back in the list because it's Call of Duty, but the computer ones are going to come back first if it's in the tag. So this is very important as well. Make sure to do the tags and make sure to do accurate ones. Don't do the ones that you know people are going to search for, just because you want people to be, coming to your video. If you do that, YouTube will flag you and you're going to lose your channel. You got to do stuff that is relevant to your video. If your video doesn't have anything to do with women in bikinis, do not put the words of stuff that women in bikinis would be putting down here. So guys who are looking for women in bikinis won't come to your site by mistake and your video by mistake and give you all those views that you really, really want, but you're going to lose your channel because of it. So don't do that. That's a big no-no. People used to do it. People got, yeah, they come down hard on that one. You also have over here add to playlist. Now these are all the playlists that I have on my channel. There's a lot of them on there because I have a lot of series going on. You can create a playlist. You can come down here and just create a new playlist. Call it whatever you want. I tend to do mine the name of the game and then Let's Play, or you'll see with like EverQuest, because I have so many Let's Plays. I actually start naming them what character I'm playing. So this is a Let's Play of a Dark Elf, or this is a Let's Play or of a High Elf. This is just for me really to understand what's going on. Other people will see these Let's Plays as well, the titles, so it can be a little bit for them as well as far as like being descriptive. But most people will just see the videos. They don't actually really look at the title of the Let's Play except for the very first time. So I don't really spend a lot of time thinking of something clever on here, just very down to the point of what it's going to be and what it is for me. So you're going to click on a Let's Play if you have one and say I want to add it to that series. So it's going to go ahead and click it right here. And so now it's going to go to Craft the World series, and then you can click off. And when it is finally uploaded and you're done with it, it's going to put it in that series for you. So if somebody is subscribed to your channel or to the actual series itself, it's going to give them a notification and say, oh, a video has come out on the series you enjoy. Do you want to watch it? Whereas if they are not subscribed to your channel but only to your video, they won't get that notification for a game in a different series. So if I had changed this over to, say, Minecraft, and you can do multiple ones as well, but if you change it over to Minecraft and they only have a subscription to, Craft the World, they won't get a notification on this one. So it kind of helps people out to not get notifications on stuff that they don't, they're not interested in. They're not going to get that and get the, folder full of all the videos that you put out. If you put out a lot a day, I put out, somewhere around 3 to 6 videos a day. So, if somebody, it's a lot of videos. If they go with without watching any of mine for like 2 or 3 days, they're gonna have like 18 in there. It's just, yeah, that's a lot. You can also share with people a little message right here. I fail to do this all the time, but you definitely should. I cannot stress that enough. Put a message here that will be sent to the people on Google and on your Twitter who are following you to let them know what the video is going to be about. Now, they will be able to see the name of the video. So that, to me, usually tells them everything they need to know about it. That's usually why I don't put anything here. And, of course, because I'm lazy. But you should give them a little bit something else. Give them the 2 lines over here that you wrote that's descriptive about your video in here. And again, I don't ever really write those 2 lines. I put a standard, this is my episode about blah, blah, blah series stuff that I write once and then just copy and paste into everything else. Again, because I'm highly lazy. And there's a lot of videos that I put out a day. And it adds up, like I have a full-time job as well. So I just don't get to do these things that I'm stressing to you guys that you really need to do. But when I finally do them, when I have that extra bit of time that I can invest into it and do it, I notice I get so many more viewers, and people seem to be happier about it, and they comment on the fact that I'm doing it. So it is stuff that people want. And you do need to do it, guys. And I know this video is going kind of long, so I'll try to wrap it up here in a second. But you also have how you can list it when it goes up. Public means anybody can watch it the moment you click this button out here at the top, which will change from save changes to actually, I think it stays save changes right now. It used to be like upload and then it changed to save changes, but now I think it just stays this way. When this is finally uploaded all the way, you can click this little button and it will be public if you have it listed on here. You can do unlisted. Unlisted, I believe, it's there. People can watch it. It's just not going to be there for people to click. They're not going to get a notification for it. They're going to have to go searching for it, and if they find it on your site, then they can watch it. Private means nobody can watch it except for you. You can change the names of like friends and email addresses that can watch it. So if you have a group of selected friends, or if you did the video with, say, other YouTubers, and you want to make sure that they can watch it first and see if they like it before you release it to the public, this is what you can do. Or you can do scheduled if you're, been on YouTube long enough, you've opened up some of those advanced features as you've gotten, kind of that partnership, or if you're part of a channel network that has those abilities, you'll have this as well. So scheduling allows you to basically schedule it. I can come in here and say I want this video to be scheduled to be released on the 20th of the month, and I want it to be released at say 1:30 a.m. in the morning, because most of the people who watch my videos, live in that time zone, even though I don't, which is not the case. Most of the people I know watch my videos. I usually do sometime in the PM or something like that. But you can experiment with it. You can come in here and do different times for different video games, and change them up, every other week or something like that. You usually don't want to once you get established, because people want to be able to count on that. They want to know, okay, it gets released every day at 5. Boom, it's done. They're not messing around with it next week. But until you figure out what the best times are for your viewers, you can mess around with it a little bit. Ask your viewers what time they would want to see the video, and if they reply back saying, oh, this time would actually be perfect for us, kind of do an average of what people were saying. So we'll just click 3:30 a.m. right now. Of course, you can change this to whatever time zone that you want. I'm just going to leave mine at local time zone. And then when it's done, you can hit Save Changes. Now, there are other tabs on here, such as Monetization, where you can get in here and you can choose the commercials that you're going to put on here. Now, this is block in all countries, means there's no advertisements whatsoever on your video. Track in all countries will keep a track of who's watching your video and stuff like that, to give you more information on who might be your audience and who you need to appeal to. Track in all countries, same thing. Monetize in all countries means you're going to monetize in every country that allows you to monetize. And monetizes are commercials, which is what I have mine set at. And we're not going to go too much into the commercial thing right now. In fact, we might stop here and do this next part in the next video, as well as a few things on like AdSense and stuff like that, because I think that's going to work out well with the monetization aspect of the video. But again, guys, if you do enjoy these videos, hit that like button, subscribe. Definitely helps the channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. It also lets me know that you want to see more like this in the future. I'm not sure if this series will catch on, or if it's something you guys will be interested in. I know a lot of you guys have asked for videos like this, so we'll see if you guys are finding out the information you want from them. If not, leave me a comment. Let me know if you guys want to see something that I'm forgetting to talk about, or if I'm forgetting to mention something that I've already gone over that you were kind of curious about. Let me know that as well. Again, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.